Hello and welcome to the latest episode of yet another Arsenal podcast. I am Mark and I am joined once again by Anfield 89 veteran Richard. How you doing, Rich?
Good, you?
Yeah, pretty good. No real football. We've had to make up and make do with friendlies for the international break. Or should I call it international break in our fucking players? More injuries.
And
Chiefly,
I feel...
I've got a different point of view to this. I don't think he could. I think he would have got injured anyway. I mean, unless there was some movement that he made was totally unique to what he did in that game, because it was essentially a quite intense training session that he did after not really training for a few days. I don't think it necessarily was predictable or avoidable. I know there's a lot been made about him having trained away from the squad because of
load management, wasn't it?
Yeah, but load management and injury risk are related but not the same in my view. So he would have arrived at that camp, I would assume, with a program based on the metrics that they use, the loads that he's been under, with the view that he will be playing in that game on Wednesday. And
right.
so you have...
I was under the impression, reading, social media, I can't imagine Ancelotti playing someone.
And this whole idea that they should not play for their countries is, partisan nonsense. You're too far... whenever...
Is that better?
That is better. But
Okay,
when you sit back, it drops off really noticeably. So these players want to play for their country. It's a World Cup year. He's Brazilian, for fuck's sake. I mean, it's not like he's playing for...
He hasn't had his place, he hasn't been the starter for a long, for a long period. He's had to win that. Going to want to play.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right. So that is I think, expecting him to not play or pull a sickie, for want of a better word, when he wants to play for Brazil at the World Cup is nonsense. And yeah, it's annoying. It's annoying. Odegaard got injured last year playing for Norway. Too many minutes in all players' legs.
The load on players is ludicrous, and the powers that be need to. All it is, I mean, whoever thought someone could be worse than Seb Blatter? Seb, come black, all is forgiven as far as I'm concerned. These lunatics in control. All it is a money grab for FIFA, UEFA, and unfortunately the clubs.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't realise that, but Brazil were playing Senegal at the Emirates. I'm not entirely sure. I would love to know how that conversation... Like, Brazil and Senegal are two countries that you would never put together in a room.
No.
Like, there's no cultural, historical link unless it's football. And I quite like that about the World Cup, actually, where you get, Uruguay versus New Zealand. Two countries that you would never normally think about as a pair are suddenly going head to head. And I think Brazil and Senegal are a little bit like that. And so I would love to know how these friendlies come about, like who phones who. It's never really...
And where to play it.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, there's a big Brazilian population in London, as I imagine there is a decent Senegalese fan base, but it's not the most obvious of locations to have a game.
Well, do you know what game for Brazil he's missing, Gabriel? Brazil are playing Tunisia in, of course, Lille.
the natural home of Brazil.
I mean, there's a few Tunisians in France as well, I'm sure. But how do these friendlies get arranged? I would love to know.
I imagine
someone's got to phone someone or email someone, like, fancy a game.
I mean, do the federations get... how is it? Do they get a better percentage of the ticket of the gate? I mean, how does it all work? Speaking of that, have you seen, as going back to good old FIFA, Infantino's FIFA, having a World Cup in a country famously where you can't walk anywhere, parking, official FIFA parking at games is $150.
Of course it is. But I think the NFL absolutely rinse people with this as well.
Absolutely.
You've seen these massive car parks outside stadium. Yeah. It's not a drivey country, full stop. I mean, you get the odd... But I mean,
walkie
New York. Yeah, but I think there's very little reference for the kids, LA's Story with Steve Martin was taking a piss out of LA, and where he comes out of his house, gets into a car, lets the handbrake off, and it rolls 20 yards down the road. Because Americans drive everywhere. And so, yeah, I mean, and if there is any group of stadium owners that know how to separate money from their previous owners, it is American sports stadiums. They don't
do not
mind
a charger, do they?
God, they don't whatsoever. Good luck getting a beer in there. Like, well, but yeah, so he's now going to be missing for 2 months, it would seem, in a pretty crucial part of the season. We'll come back to who should replace him in a minute as we go round the what I noticed from the international weekend. First of all, what I noticed, Phil Foden's assist. Apparently,
on a plate. On a plate. I mean, you can't miss those. You just simply can't miss those.
I mean, all we had to do was bend it round the keeper into the top corner from 20 yards. Yeah, first time, no time. Because that speaks to how good the pass was.
Bread and butter. I mean, getting a little bit serious. I mean, I only drew Bellingham situation, and the man was on the money. Is thinly disguised racism.
It's not even disguised.
It's not even thinly disguised, is it? I mean, you had it with Raheem Sterling. You've had it with Rashford, I think, going off to America, and they said he was dressed like a gangster rapper. 50-year-old white men know about gangster rap and youth fashion. It's disgusting. It's disgusting.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the vindictiveness of the British press towards the English player, it is accepted. And during that, I have also seen Ian Wright talking about it on The Overlap. And one of the arguments put forward is that there's always a player that the press will have a right go at just before a tournament, whether that's Paul Gascoigne, Wayne Rooney. Some of the other examples they picked up were white players. So is it that pervasive, and are we reading into it? But the counterpoint to that was that it's always about for the white players on the pitch.
Yeah.
Whereas, Raheem Sterling's not allowed to buy his mum a house. Or,
a multi-millionaire Raheem Sterling, how dare you? It's ludicrous.
It is ludicrous. But also, why does it really sell papers? Like, do papers even fucking sell anymore?
I know.
Like, I don't understand the mentality towards it. Surely, like, England winning the World Cup must be great for media and clicks and all the other shit that they need to be successful. So I don't understand. So Bellingham is obviously going to be the one in the crosshairs. And I think that is part racism, part vindictiveness. Like, he's not playing the media game. And
doesn't do interviews, his family.
What the fuck should he?
Why should he?
I honestly think the entitlement of these guys is outrageous. Also, the quality of football journalism, I don't know if it ever was higher, but you could look back into the golden days of, if they ever existed, people like Ian Waldridge and other like writers. They just got like reporters just writing any old shit for clickbait, and I find it very frustrating. And he's 20, he's gone to Real Madrid, and he hasn't scoring last-minute winners against Barcelona in his first season. And, I don't follow Real Madrid particularly closely, but I would say his transfer, to a large extent, has been a success. And he's done really well there at that age. And then he's got to sit and watch some chubby geezer who say, "Oh, you're not acting right." In the mix zone. Oh, I don't like the way he acted in the mix zone. So, like, fucking hell.
Another thing, they say, they're role models to children. None of these, when they were 4, 5 and 6 years old, they never went, do you know what? They became professional footballers. That's what they wanted to be.
Yeah, well, he'd say, what exactly has he done that's so wrong?
No, exactly.
I mean,
because he's not playing the game they want him to.
Yeah, I mean, he waved his arms a little bit when he went off. And
who's not upset? Who's not upset when they get something?
I mean, he is a role model, and there'll be kids getting substituted all this week, and they'll start throwing their arms about as well. And do you know what? Their coach and their parents need to say, pack it in, right? It's not Jude Bellingham's fault. So I find that very difficult to get on board with. But of course, Ian Wright, hasn't got a statue outside the ground for some reason.
Madness. Absolute mad.
And I think what they should do is get Ian Wright to unveil what he's told is an Arsene Wenger statue. And when he pulls it back, it's actually him and David Rocastle celebrating goals at Southampton.
See, I was just going to say to you, if there was a Wrighty statue, what pose? If it was just... Okay, I love that idea. If it was just Wrighty, which one of the celebrations, the many over the years?
Yeah, well, my first preference would be him and David Rocastle in some embrace. So, you know, you get two for the price of one in your statues. But I quite like the sort of, you know, I don't really know how to describe it, but the sort of hip flex.
Yeah. Arms, yeah.
Like fist in a sort of, I don't really know, but that, you know.
And I demand, that even though it's a bronze statue, I demand it has painted on it.
Yeah, I was thought he was going to say he's gold toothed then as well. I thought, yeah, I'm right up for that, but fucking hell, it lasts about 5 minutes in the fucking 10 minutes off the 10 minutes off the Holloway Road. That'd be fucking gone.
But yeah, it was. It's funny now where I remember you go back to the days of England qualifications were so dramatic. You know, last minute winners against Greece. Now we're just like, I don't watch half of them.
No, they're very difficult watches. I find
it's business like. We get the job done. We don't concede goals, and that's it. And it's so different to when obviously we grew up watching England. You never know what was going to happen. I mean, going 1 down to San Marino in about 2 minutes was a particular highlight.
Yeah, and they make it look so easy.
Yeah.
In the past, it has not been an easy. It was only like 2008. They didn't qualify at all because they got absolutely done over by Steve McLaren and Croatia. When we first became aware of Eduardo. Yeah, so an absolute stroll in the park. I mean, you have your fingers crossed and toes crossed that they all come through it okay. Tuchel seems to have managed the minutes very sensibly. I mean, the idea that these top-class, highly tuned athletes are going to put their feet up when they don't play is bollocks, right? You see it as well when if they're not a sub, if they are a sub and they don't come on. Part of the warm down, you see the subs going through their sprints because they've got to do some sort of activity.
It's got to be some sort of load.
Yeah, they've got to keep going. It's like Tour de France riders. When they have a rest day, they don't go and have a little walk around the town. They get on their bike and have an easier 7 or 8 hour ride to keep things ticking over. It's just, I mean, I'm not an expert in sports science or anything, but that's my understanding, is that they do not actually rest in the way that you might think they should and might want them to. They still do activity, and hamstrings and groins can go just as easy in those circumstances as...
Well, we just got to hope. I remember on the last pod we did, we were sitting here talking about the cavalry about to arrive. Unfortunately delayed.
Yeah, I wish these national managers would shut the fuck up about injuries.
I know.
It really annoys me. Like, Havertz has had a relapse, or the Norwegian manager saying, well, maybe he has, maybe he hasn't. But who knows how much that has actually impacted the return date? You don't know.
And it's not like your position. You've got them for 2 weeks to say that. No,
exactly. So it also upsets me because it might be true.
Yeah. And the one gone, hopefully tomorrow. We're recording this on a Thursday before the North London Derby conference. One that's concerned me a little bit this week is the Gyökeres, because I would have liked to, again, we need a striker.
Yeah, we do. But I mean, Marino equips himself quite well, and he's done it against Real Madrid and in the Champions League, and against Sunderland as well. I thought he had a pretty decent game there. He's not what you want, but it does enable you to perhaps to do other things. Who knows? I think Spurs have got loads of injuries as well. I mean,
they have more than us, actually. They have more.
Yeah,
than us.
So good.
But just I know we're flitting around here, but I'd just like to I know we go back to international football quickly. Kieran fucking Tierney.
Yeah, that is in the Scotland game. Well, I watched a little bit of Scotland-Greece. It was one of those things where in international week, games just pop up on weird channels.
I'll have a bit of that.
And when I turned it on, I think Scotland were losing 1-0 to Greece. I thought, international breaks were a bit of a break for me. I've put enough emotion into Premier League games, watching them in abject terror as I do. So it's a nice little break from football for me to recharge. So I'm not like mad keen to watch Scotland v Greece. I must have gone up the channels a little bit, came back down and said, I wonder how that Scotland game was going on. About 10 minutes later, it was 3-2. So I watched and Scotland were, heroic failures in that Greece game. I didn't realise this at the time, but they'd been 3-0 down and they came back to 3-2. Greece had a player sent off and McTominay missed. I was going to say he missed the chance, but it was actually a pretty decent save by the Greek keeper. And then so they had to redeem themselves against Denmark. And then the first thing you hear is your phone blowing up with McTominay's overhead kick. That is a great overhead kick. Fully.
It's up there with one of the best I've seen.
Yeah. Like Gareth Bale in the Champions League final was probably the best, just given like execution and the context of it. But in terms of, cementing yourself as a national hero, overhead kick like that. Off the boot as well, I think. Not a Wayne Rooney off the shin, the shin always takes it down a
little shin up. But what's happened to him since he's gone to Napoli? I mean, he's reinvented himself. Not just his game, his whole. He's embraced the Italian look as well. He's a completely new man, and I'm all for it. It was one of those things where a few years back where our players simply didn't go abroad.
No, well, he's done.
British players didn't go abroad.
He did what Graham Souness did. So when Souness went to Italy, he was all perm hair, tash, archetypal. I know he's not Scouse, but he might as well have been.
Bastard for the Speedos on a weekend, wasn't he, on the boat?
Loved the perm, like little tight perm, loved the tash. And he came back, tash is gone, he's wearing navy suits with brown shoes and matching belt and everything and a tan. So maybe McTominay's done very, very similar. I bet he has to put the old sunblock on when he's training.
But I tell you, when Tierney scored, my first thought was so pleased for him because I loved Kieran. I know he had his injury issues, and obviously we sadly our game evolved past him. But I loved him. I thought he was a great player. My second thought was, for fuck's sake, don't do a knee slide. Because, I was thinking, all you need to do is another ACL and then miss it. I was like, don't, just run away calmly and stand up. Please don't do a knee slide. That was my immediate second thought when he scored.
Yeah.
Lovely curling left foot into the bottom corner.
Beautiful strike. I thought he'd come off one of the Denmark players for a couple of... but clean as a whistle, straight in. Lovely strike. And the composure... I mean, I thought he's a really good player.
I like him.
And great attitude. And as you say, sort of game overtook him a little bit, as did injuries. But yeah, really, really pleased for him. I also, despite the rivalry between England and Scotland, I love watching a Scottish crowd go absolutely bananas.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
It's amazing. And I'm looking forward to social media because they're great fans. They are. I mean, I know we have obviously the everlasting rivalry with them, but they're a great bunch of fans. And obviously there are Scottish people in America, but they rarely see him come en masse.
Yeah,
that's a whole different animal. I want to be a bar owner in New York, let me tell you.
Yeah, well, it's New York will probably have seen its fair share of boozers, and so I wonder if there's some of the more Midwestern, more flyover statey. I mean, I don't know what the World Cup venues actually are, but there must be someone who's never seen a Scotsman in full kilt, in full flight before,
and Russ Abbott ginger wig. It's going to be glorious. It's going to be glorious. Yeah, no, it's. I'm pleased they did it because it's been 30 years.
Yeah, always good to see Scotland find new and original ways to get knocked out in the first round. But so it seems as though everyone else is all right. Although, as you said, not many people seem to be coming back from injury. You would have liked one or two. As you say, the cavalry is not on its way at the moment. So we got that mob this week. You're always quite optimistic, and you seem to be.
They're going to turn up, touch their ankles, and take it like they are. And I know I do say that in jest because their form under Frank, they're a better away team. because they're not, quite simply, they're not good with the ball. They're not a team that wants the ball, and their midfield is dog shit, quite frankly.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I think their midfield can be overrun. They've got no passing ability in the middle. So it suits them coming away from home, let the home team have the ball, and which is why I would have just liked a striker, a proper. I know Marino does it. I would have liked a striker because this is their sort of game.
Yeah, but on the flip side to that, if they're going to let us have the ball, or maybe even just accept that they won't be able to have it, might be a more accurate way of describing that. They're going to be camped in their box, and means your typical striker looking to get behind is not what you want. So maybe I don't know. I'll trust Arteta to come up with something that work. But Brentford sides, when they've come to the Emirates, have always done quite well, is my impression of that. I remember a couple of last minute equalisers and fucking offside goals that should have been offside, but the silly pricks forgot to
draw a line.
Forgot to draw a line on it. And of course, officiating on this, we have
Habibi himself.
Michael Oliver is back. I don't think he should
Nothing
be
to see here. Nothing to see here. Going over to Saudi and taking...
No, Saudi. That would have been fine.
Yeah.
That would have been fine.
Yeah.
Ish. He went to Abu Dhabi.
Abu Dhabi, didn't he? Yeah.
Took the coin to referee a game. No, totally fine. I work in the industry.
And whose money did he take?
Just the Abu Dhabi FAs. I'm pretty sure there's absolutely no impropriety around at all. No conflict of interests. No. And it is just a coincidence that he has sent 7 Arsenal players off, including Martinelli's famous double yellow that no one's ever seen before or since. 7
Miles
players.
Lewis Skelly's.
Yep. And Trossard nearly cut his fingers off getting the card out, send him off. Despite the fact in the previous Man City Arsenal game, didn't want to ruin it by sending Kovacic off.
For nearly breaking Rice's ankle.
Yeah, well, two almost identical stampy over-the-top tackles. No, don't want to ruin the game. Someone kicks the ball away while someone else is laying on the floor. Oh, no, sorry, hands are tied, got no choice, he's off. Yeah. Also, it's not only us. I remember, I think Liverpool playing City at Anfield, and Doku kicked someone in the chest in the last minute in the box. No, play on. Nothing to see here. So looking forward to seeing our new and original ways that he can find to send our players off. I mean, the Martinelli thing was a joke. Utter joke.
Never seen before or since. We've had a few.
And won't be as well. Well, maybe we will. Maybe we'll see it again on Sunday.
So
when you put your head to the side like that, I can't hear.
So, it's weird, isn't it? So I mean, they've got a lot of injuries also. I'm not quite sure what type of game it's going to be. So, but I still fancy us to come get the win.
Yeah, I think it will be a archetypal Arsenal home game. We will have loads of the ball. They will have hardly any of it, and they will look to break as quickly as possible and trying to take advantage of the transition. And then, as we know, set pieces are a big part of the Premier League now. We've got to be firm against that. And missing Big Gabby, who I think is unparalleled in the air once he gets up.
Both things.
Who are we going to replace him with? So the candidates, Sarah. Does he come in, play on the left side? I don't know if he can play on the left side. Does he play on the right side and move Saliba, and then you move in 2 people? Do you put Calafiori there and Miles Lewis Skelly as a couple, as a pairing on the left side? Or I think the most obvious thing to do is put in Capier there. Yeah. He's a left-sided centre-half. We're going to end up paying nearly £50 million for him. He must be quite good.
No, I've got no problem with that. That would be because, as you said, I doubt, in my opinion, he would put Mosquera on the left-hand side, which means then moving Saliba over, which ultimately means you've got a young centre-half and your experienced centre-half out of position. I don't see that. That's too many moving.
Yeah. I think he'll go for simplicity and just put, like, he's got a left-footed centre-half that can play there, put him there. And it's not like he hasn't played in big games or he's not an international footballer. So he should be able to equip himself well, there's at home as well. And yeah, so it is a blow, but these players need to see this as their chance. That you often think, oh, these guys are backups and squad players. I don't think they see it like that. They think
to become a professional footballer at the elite level, your mentality.
He should think to himself, and rightly so, this is my chance to cement my place in the team. Whether I don't think managers think like that anymore, though. Like, the second he's fit, he'll be back in. But he must think to himself, this is my chance to really impress and do something with
the opportunity.
Yeah, with the opportunity. So, and the rest of the team probably picks itself, doesn't it? I mean, we've got no real options.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully Madueke might be back. In the last, say, 20 minutes, you take minutes off.
2-1 up. I don't want it to be 2-1 with 10 minutes left. I'll tell you that.
And you runner straight at them. And I think, unfortunately at this point, we've had this squad, but I still don't think we've seen how Arteta wants the team to play because they haven't all been there yet.
No. And maybe we might have to accept that this is going to be what's happened. We'll get these 5 back and then another bunch will in the sickness bay. And because of the demands, I mean, we've got this League Cup semi-final, which I know everyone's saying, chuck it. He will not. So, and the squad was really threadbare when we went away to Newcastle, and we really got battered in those 2 semi-finals. Yeah. It was like a half-intensity mismatch of fitness and people on the edge and looking at
Newcastle
Champions League games. And Newcastle,
this weird rivalry with them.
Well, it was there. They had won a trophy for ages, and it was like everything was put into that. We basically chucked the league towards the end of the season as well to concentrate on the Champions League. So we did a similar thing. Yeah, it worked out for them, but it had a real detrimental effect on the rest of our season. There is a worry. But, footballers play football, and we just got to accept that. And there's a limited amount of trophies to win. I think winning the League Cup will actually take a lot of pressure off Arteta and the rest of the squad. It's something Mourinho used to prioritise, I think. Yeah. He would come in, win the League Cup. Right, that's one. We've won one. Right?
Yeah. And you know that feeling now.
Yeah, and I think that is not a bad way to approach it. 2-legged semi-final, that's a fucking stupid idea. I need to get rid of that.
And I think, what is it they're talking about? It's insane. Absolutely insane. How professional. Because once you've got your recovery period, no training between a league game and a semi-final.
Yeah, it's utterly mental. So let's get back to the weekend. Looking ahead, you are quite confident. I am not, but I'm not because of the relative quality of the teams. It's just football, derbies, that lot, the emotional toil and effort that I'm going to have to put in over the weekend. That is my main concern. Like on any home game, we should be favourites against anyone in world football, and especially those pricks. And so I should be confident, but of course I'm not, because we all know what could happen. We saw it against Sunderland as well. That's like a what could happen thing. You can dominate a period of a game, play the best you have all season, and then still come away with just a point.
Add a little bit more spice to my my Sunday. I have a golf competition on Sunday morning, which is a good thing, because the downside to it is I'm playing with a Spurs fan.
Yeah, it's one of the occupational hazards of sort of North East London living, isn't? They're everywhere.
Yeah. The interesting thing will be City play before us.
Yeah,
and it could, worst case scenario, be.
Yeah, they've got Newcastle away, haven't they? Is that?
Newcastle,
that is a tough game. Let's say we were previewing Arsenal away at Newcastle 5:30 after an international break.
Yeah,
you'd be thinking, "Oh fuck, this is going to be hard." Yeah. But we'll see. I mean, we'll see if their midfield are allowed to go around booting Man City's midfield in the way they seem to be allowed to.
They're a physical team, Mark. They're a physical team. That's it. Once you get that label, you can do what you like.
All right, so let's hope we batter that mob next over the weekend, and we'll pick the bones out of it next week. But I thought we'd do a bit of reminiscing as well, as you suggested over the international break. Your stupid idea of
Yeah, didn't go down too well, did it? I mean,
no, we did have people contacting us. Richard wanted to go through the Battle of Old Trafford 2004 injustice robbery.
Just enjoy a bit of self-flagellation now and again. It's just one of those situations.
That is true, but no, a lot of correspondence saying, do not do that. Well, you can do that, I just won't listen to it. So I thought I would talk about my experiences with Spurs, which have largely been positive. And I think we're of an age where our first real taste of that rivalry and what it could mean was in the 1987 League Cup semi-final, which, I mean, you talk about games and two-legged semi-finals. This one went to a replay.
Yes, and I have a story about my father about that game, which was...
Well, this is one of my favourite seasons of talking about Spurs, because this is, to me, this typifies what they're like. So 1987, a centre forward scores 49 goals before Erling Haaland was invented. About 6 of them came against us, I think, including in this run of games. And they had Hoddle at his peak just before he went abroad. Waddle before he went to Marseille. Ozzy Ardiles, an actual World Cup winner. Loads of great players they had in their side. And that season, they came third in the league. They lost to us in the semi-final of the League Cup, and they got dicked in the cup final by fucking Coventry whilst wearing mismatched shirts. What an absolute shambles.
I watched that game in a room, in a restaurant, owned by a Spurs fan, and basically there were about 45 people in there, and me and my dad were Gooners, and everyone else was Spurs. I had one of the greatest times of my 8-year-old.
Yeah, I can totally appreciate that, but let's look at that. 97, we were at home first in that game.
Yeah.
And I think Gus Caesar played in it, Michael Thomas played at right back, and we lost 1-0 to inevitably a Clive Allen goal that year, one of, as we say, 49 that he scored that year. Put his golden boot next to the medals he won. Oh, no, he didn't win any. And he celebrated that goal, if I remember rightly, by jumping up in the air and falling on his back.
Yeah, he did.
And so, to White Hart Lane for the second leg, I think we were 1-0 down at half-time there for a Clive Allen goal. And I don't know whether this is true, but a lot of the players from around the time say that so they were 2-0 down on aggregate, away from home, things are looking bleak. And then over the tannoy, the players hear the Spurs PA tell the supporters how they can apply for tickets to the final.
My dad was there, and he confirms that is absolute truth.
And that really galvanised them. And they did, I think Noel Quinn got one back. Maybe, I can't remember who scored the other one, but it was 2-2. And so there was a replay. And a replay, which they decided, could you imagine this today? First of all, a replay for a two-legged semi-final. Yeah. Secondly, the venue was decided by the toss of a coin in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah. It's so quaint. The 80s were...
Yeah. And so a midweek game, and again, went 1-0 down again. Clive Allen scored.
Apologies, this was the game my dad was at, and I could tell you a lovely little story.
And Ian Allenson got an equaliser, and then in the dying moments, David Rocastle scored to send us through to Wembley. And I went to that Wembley final, 1987, my first experience of that. And I think it may have coloured my optimism. I always believed, no matter what, Arsenal could do it.
Well, what happened in the final? We went 1-0 down.
To an Ian Rush
Ian
goal.
Rush.
Now, Ian Rush, up until that moment, every time Ian Rush had scored for Liverpool, they'd never lost a game. And that was like one of the sort of narratives. Now, Ian Rush has never lost the game in which he scored for Liverpool. Well, he did that day. Perry Groves came on, absolutely skinned someone down maybe Gary Gillespie down the left wing, put it in, and there was a bit of a deflection on the goal, and it sort of creeped in. I'm not even sure it hit the back of the net, such was the pace over which...
It did dribble over, and no doubt, Champagne Charlie put on his leather trousers and had a bloody good...
I bet he fucking did. So what's your story about the...
Well... My dad used to be in the jewellery, where everyone's listening, in Hatton Garden, which is a famous jewellery district in London. And it just so happens that he started doing jewellery for David O'Leary.
Oh, really?
So he became quite friendly with David O'Leary over the years.
The joke was there.
O'Leary. You set them up and I'll skew them wide. So it just so happened just before the semi, he said he made David's wife this emerald ring that David was really happy about. And he went, Stuart, anytime you want tickets, just let me know. Can't get us for the fucking replay, can you? And so he said, listen, I'll see what I can do. Let me come back to you. And I said, I can't. Tickets are like gold dust for this game. He said, but I can get you in a director's box. And he went, I'm going in. And he said, half an hour. He said it was pandemonium, obviously. And he said that was a real thing. And in the Arsenal director's box, they were bristling when they heard the announcement. And he said, Mr. Hillwood, he's never seen such a pissed, happy man in his life. After that game, he said he was absolutely blotto, hugging everyone with the biggest grin you've ever seen.
Good lad.
Yes. Unfortunately, he couldn't get him tickets for the final. But I'm not sure if you know, my dad's tradition has a weird tradition of managing to get tickets in the away end, and for the final, and nearly had a fight with a Scouse supporter behind him. My dad has an inability to shut his mouth.
Get his mouth shut. So, what about away games yourself? Have you been over there to White Hart Lane? I haven't been to the new one. Not to the new one. Not
in many years. I think it might have been 89, 90 around there. But it's not the nicest.
No. I went in 92 was the first time I went. We lost, but so I was still just a teenager really, and the atmosphere was awful. It was really, really horrible. Yeah. Went the following year as well, just after we won the cup.
Yeah,
Ian Wright, I think, had scored a goal in basically the last minute to win. Went absolutely mental. I wore my Arsenal shirt to that game.
Bad mistake.
Never in retrospect, a mistake. But I want to talk about a probably a lesser game because we did win, and also Adebayor scored a couple of goals, including an absolute worldie. We won 3-1. I had to look up the date. It was 2007. Went 1-0 down to Gareth Bale.
It was a great game. It was a great game. And, I'll never forget Gareth Bale, free kick. Bent into the near post, which, any shot was basically Almuni's kryptonite, but anything near the post, he was fucking useless.
I know. I watched the highlights today because I remember the goals, but some of the finer details are lost in the midst of time. Whereas Almunia, if anyone could believe this, a couple of times he came off his line and did not get there.
The one that amazed me was was it Berbatov was going through?
Yeah,
and he was miles outside his box. Did he try and get the ball? No, he just jumped up in the air.
Yeah,
he just jumped up in the air.
Got saved by Kolo Touré's amazing tackle. I think Gilberto Silva was playing centre half that day as well. And I was in the away section, but right at the first row. So I had the benefit of being able to see myself on Match of the Day going mad. And those highlights you saw today, I was in them. Not recognisably so, but you can point and say, that one's me. And the Fabregas goal that he scored is one of my favourite goals because I can remember my thought process during that goal.
Yeah.
Because when you're at the front, it might sound great, but of course anyone just sit there, you're sort of below head height. It's very difficult to get any sort of perspective of the pitch. The camber of the pitch is much greater than you think it is, so you can't even see the ball when it's on the ground at certain places. I did hear Kolo Touré and Gilberto Silva give Abo Diaby an absolute bollocking for not closing someone down. That was very enjoyable. But Fabregas strike, and I remember it so clearly. And I guess the thoughts that you have, it happens much more quickly than I'm about to describe it, but I genuinely had all of these thoughts. So he lines up, he's quite a long way out as well.
He was a long way out.
And he cracked it. And my first thought when he hit it was like, fucking hell, he's hit that well. When it just because you're so close to it, you're basically watching it like a Sunday League game from behind the goal. He's hit that. And then I'm looking at Robinson, because I've got no idea, is it going 20 foot over the bars? He skewed it wide, whatever. So you're looking at the goalie to see what he thinks of it, and he's already diving. That's got a chance. That's got a chance. And then I'm looking at the back of the net, just waiting. And that moment when it
top left,
it just billows out, and then it is pandemonium. It was one of my favourite sort of non-cup final winning goals, just because of that, like how pure the strike was, and I felt that it was. Is that in? And just those like 3 stages of the goal, I really enjoyed it. And then Adebayor, I mean, we've had our.
Speaking of pure, that was the purest, most Adebayor performances. He could have had 7.
He could have done them. Knocked a couple of hit the bar, put a couple of basically. Roll it in the corner, finishes, probably put it easily 30 yards over the bar. Might have gone out of the stadium. But then in the last minute, flips one up and then volleys it in the top corner.
Such an Adebayor. I watched the highlights and I was like, this is peak Adebayor here. This is everything you need to know.
Yeah. So, I mean, Fabregas had quite a good record. He scored basically 2 in a minute against them as well. So that was...
Remember Kleb going through? Kleb was put through by, I think, Fabregas, or it may have been Sanyo, I'm not too sure. And he was barreling down on the edge of the box. And I went, I know the score, but I know what's going to happen here. And he weakly shot Rob.
Can I end this little section on a positive, actually? So at home as well. I went to the consecutive 5-2s as well. Oh. We were 2-0 down in one of them, and I tell you talk about poisonous atmospheres. That was
the locals doth get restless.
There were definitely some words being said there, but it all turned out for the best in the end. And so let's hope it does Sunday as well, where we batter them. As you say, they're going to get absolutely slapped.
Yeah, could get slapped.
Okay, right, that's it for this week. We know what's at stake this weekend. Cover you Gunners, and then hope Rich is right and get an absolute pounding. But until then, see you later. Get in touch with us at yap49@gmail.com or yap49 on Instagram. I think that's it. No, not even sure. See you later.
See ya.